Hey guys, welcome to 724. This week we are in week 10. We are almost half done with the 24 weeks. And this week I wanted to talk about paying off some debt, right? So we do know about the debt to income ratio. If you're trying to buy a house or if you're trying to finance something that is a big ticket item, most lending institutions or most loan or mortgages company calculate what they call a debt to income ratio. And what that means is they want to know if you're able to afford this house, how much wiggle room you have, how much excess money that you have to pay towards this loan. Okay. So with that being said, um, debt to income ratio, I'm going to read the definition so you can kind of get, you know, for those of you that haven't quite heard of what this is, and you're probably like, debt to income ratio, what does that mean? This is important because we're starting to save the money. We're getting closer to actually accessing our dream. So we want to be able to have everything in place. We don't want anything hindering us to where we can purchase our dream home or get the dream car that we've always wanted, or getting the money to fund that dream wedding or that dream vacation. So if you needed to borrow a large amount of money, you need to be aware of this. Okay, I'm going to read the definition for what debt to income ratio is, and then I'll go into more detail about it. Okay, so it says debt to income ratio is when a lending institution compare your debt to how much income you have. They want to know if you can afford to make the payments without being in a hardship. So this is very important because, again, if you're trying to buy a big ticket item, they want to know how much extra money that you have now. If you're already in a lot of debt and you don't have any wiggle room, which means that you don't have any money left when you're done paying your bills at the end of the month, when you're done paying your bills and you don't have any money left, they look at you as a high risk. They don't want to invest in you because let's say something happens or your bills go up because of inflation, and they may go up 10%. Um, how are you going to be able to afford this $1,500 house payment, right? On top of everything else. So they want to make sure that you have enough excess cash to get to where you're not in a hardship. Okay, so while we're working on saving our money for our dream, we need to start paying down on some debt so we can get our debt to income ratio where we need to have it. Typically, to calculate your debt to income ratio, what you're going to do, you're going to add up all your expenses. And you should have already done this in the previous week because I had you to do a budget so you can know how much your total expenses are and know how much your total income is. So you should have already done this. If you have not, okay, you're going to have to do it. Okay. So what you do is you're going to take your total expenses. It could be $2,500 a month or whatever it is. You're going to take that total divided by whatever your total income is. So it could be $3,000 or $3,500, whatever your monthly, I'm sorry, your monthly total income. So whatever your monthly expenses are, whatever your monthly income is. So you're going to take your total monthly expenses and divide it by whatever your total monthly income is, and that's how you calculate your debt to income ratio. Now, when you get that number, it says that a lower DTI, debt to income rate, means that a lender will more than likely give you the loan. The higher the DTI, debt to income rate, the less likely to get approved. So mortgage lenders usually use this number to determine how much money you can borrow. Okay, so the higher your DTI is, the less likely or the lower the loan will be. The lower the DTI is, the more money you can borrow, or the more likely you can get the loan that you need. Okay, so it says that lenders use this number to determine how much money you can borrow, know what your current DTI is, and what to do to decrease it is the key to getting bigger loans. Now, a DTI below 36% is best. Most mortgage company will accept a DTI between 47 to 50%. That's half of your income. Okay, so you don't want to go over half your income when you're going into trying to purchase a home. You want to have some expendable income left over. You don't want to go in and don't have any wiggle room, because they're going to look at you. And I know some of you probably have went through this already when you try to get a house loan and they told you that your expenses was a little bit too high and you need to pay down some of your expenses. So this is what they mean. You have a high DTI, and they're looking at you as a risk because you don't have any you're already living paycheck to paycheck is what they call it, and you don't have any expendable money to put towards, like, if inflation goes up and your bills go up, how are you going to maintain this mortgage, or how are you going to maintain this payment without going into a hardship? So they want to be able to know and feel comfortable that you're going to be able to pay this loan to term, because with mortgages, it's usually 15 to 30 years. And they want to know you're going to be able to afford going in. They want to know that you're going to be able to afford to keep paying on this loan without going into default. Okay, so most mortgages company will accept a DTI between 47 and 50%, but check with your local bank and see what their DTI is, debt to income rate. You can go there and talk to their mortgage mortgage loan officer, and they will sit down with you and you have this conversation and say, hey, I just found out, about the DTI, and I want to know more information about it. So what does your bank accept? Is it 36%? Is it between 41 and 50? Because I want to know how much bills I need to pay down. I want to know what to have my DTI at when I come in and apply for a mortgage loan, because I don't want to get turned down when I'm working on my credit. I save the money. I've done everything that I needed to do, and now it's time for me to apply for the loan, and then I get turned down because I have too much debt. So you want to make sure that you concentrate on the DTI before you go and apply for a loan, because you don't want, again, nothing to stop you from hindering the process, and then you have to bag back and start paying down on your loans when on your bills, your debt. You'll have to start paying off some debt to get your DTI lower if you go ahead and work on it now. So by the end of the 24 weeks, hey, you got a good DTI score. So isn't this amazing that you're learning all of this now, instead of, going into it and then you have to stop and then go back to the drawing board. Then you have to go back and then they tell you something else and then you got to go back to the drawing board. So you're learning all this now within 24 weeks, 6 months, guys. I'm telling you, I'm going to have you guys ready. The mortgage company is going to look at you and be like, man, you really did your homework. I have no problem giving you this money. I see that you have worked hard. And develop a relationship with your bank's mortgage loan officer. Start going in and having these conversations, because I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference when they see that you're really trying. to work on you. You're trying to work on your credit, and you're trying to do what's right. So that way you got everything squared away, and when it's time for you to apply for that mortgage loan, you don't have any hiccups. Okay. So now it says that this means that lenders may require you to have a minimum of 29 to 59% disposable income. This is money that's not going anywhere. This is your extra money that you have. Again, I'm gonna say this: if your income, if your income is $3,000 a month and you're paying 2,500 in and expenses out of that, or if you're paying 2,500 of that towards debt, then your debt to income is going to be way too high, guys. You want your debt to be at least 50% of your monthly take home pay. 50% of your monthly take home pay. So what that means is, if you're bringing home $3,000 a month, your expenses are going to have to be $1,500, because that's half of the $3,000 a month. Remember that, okay? So, and that's why a lot of guys' loans get denied, because of their DTI. But again, go talk to your bank loan officer. Get to develop a relationship with them and talk to them. Go in and tell them, hey, I want to buy a house in 3 years. I'm trying to get myself together. I heard somebody talk about the DTI, debt to income rate, and I want to know what your debt to income threshold is, so I know how to um, lower my debt so I can meet your debt to income rate. Okay. Check with several banks to see what theirs are. And I would say whichever one has the highest threshold, then that's who you want to go with. But then check their interest rate also too, because you don't want to get the one that has the highest threshold, but then the interest rate is way higher than the one that has the lower threshold. Okay. So guys, it's time to pay down some debt. So you need to look at your credit and go through your expenses and see what you can cut, what you can get rid of. Rule of thumb is to keep your debt at half of your monthly income. Okay. So go in, cut some stuff. You got to cut it. You got to get rid of it. Pay down whatever you need to pay down. Cancel whatever you need to cancel, because we are trying to get this home. We're trying to get our dream car. We're trying to get approved for the money to pay for our dream wedding. Some of you guys want to have like a $50,000 wedding. So you want to borrow money for that. I'm not doing it. When I get married, I'm not going to spend a lot of money, because that's just one day for me. And yeah, it's gonna be nice, but I'm gonna save the money that I want to use my wedding for. But I don't want to spend an excessive amount of money for one day, because we have to live after that. And I want us to be happy, and I don't want us to be in a lot of debt because I'm choosing to have a fairy tale wedding. I want a fairy tale marriage, not one day of fantasy. I want the rest of my life to be a fantasy. So that's why I'm doing it. So go back, look at your debt, pay down what you need to pay down, and then in week 11, we're going to talk about how to pay down that debt. What's the best way to pay down debt, especially with a car. If you have a car right now, how to pay that car in half the time. Some people, well, most days, now now, car loans, if you buy a new car, it's typically 6 to 7 years. So, how to pay that car down in half of that. If you want to figure out a way to pay your car down in 3 years, there's a way that you could do that. If you have like a mortgage and you want to figure out how to pay that mortgage off in 15 years instead of 30 years, there's a way that you could do that. And it's called velocity banking. And in week 11, we're going to talk about velocity banking. But guys, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope I kind of, gave you some insightful information. Do your homework. I always tell my clients to research whatever I tell you. Go on YouTube. YouTube is a university. You can find out what you need to know on YouTube. Anything you need to know on YouTube. So research what I'm telling you. Pay down the debt. Find out what your current DTI is. And if you need to bring it down to 50%, do what you need to do. Discipline yourself. Hold yourself accountable, and get it done, because in 24 weeks we want to be ready. We want to be able to walk in the bank and say, I want to apply for that mortgage, or we want to be able to go to the car lot and say, I want to get this Mercedes. And when they pull your credit score, they are very impressed. Okay. So, and they're very impressed by the knowledge that you're speaking, because they can't get over on you. Okay. That's the best feeling in the world, when you can speak financial language to somebody that thinks you don't know what you're talking about. And then when you have a conversation with them, they know they can't get over on you because they know you've done your research, and the conversation changes. It's amazing how they speak with you with a more financial educated voice, instead of speaking down to you and telling you what they can do and what they can't do, and try to force you into something that you don't want. When they know that you are very well financially educated, and then your credit score backs that up, oh, it's a whole different level of respect, I'm telling you. And it feels good when you're respected in that nature. So guys, again, thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope I have spit some education to you, and I'll see you in week 11. Bye, guys.